Hey y'all, Brandon Rinas here. Hope you're doing absolutely amazing. So today I'm going to try something a little bit different. I watched an entire Young Turks show, or Young Turds show, and I decided, you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to have them present their point of view, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to translate it into English. Because they always have the emotional side of things. Very rarely do they have factual backing to a lot of their claims. It's all emotion, I feel this way, or they really disconnect it from reality. So I'm going to try to bring it to reality. Now I spent an entire hour or however long their show is to listen to them go over some points, and this is how it is. It started off with an opening, a 15-minute opening of how Donald Trump picks his people according to looks. In fact, they went over Mad Dog Mattis, and they tried to compare him to what General Patton looked like. And then they tried to compare him to what General Patton looked like in the movie, whatever that actor's name is. And they're like, oh yeah, he picks people according to looks. You can even look at his website, and he picks people according to looks because one of the things he has listed on there is appearance. They literally spent 15 minutes on something that is an opinion. You can't prove for a fact that Donald Trump picks people according to appearance. In fact, it would be quite arguable that he doesn't when we look at the people he's picking. He's picking people, when it comes to Mad Dog Mattis, that are one of the best people in the world at defending our country. Do you think he went, oh, I really wonder what the guy looks like? But no, they don't mention any of that in their show. No, let's not talk about that. Let's actually just talk about how we want to think and use our emotion and basis because we want to really talk about how bad Donald Trump is. Who cares about the facts? Who cares about reality? It's all emotion. 15 minutes of torture. Now this is going to be a little bit shorter. Don't worry, I won't get into that. So that's the opening story. The second story they get into, finally they start talking about facts. They go into polling and they talk about what businesses are liked, what businesses are disliked, what people are liked, firemen, policemen, things of this kind. And then they get to their favorite. Big business is horrible, particularly the medical industry. In fact, the medical industry is the least liked industry in all of the polling. So, the Young Turks, they want more control of government. They want more regulation. They want, single payer. They want anything that involves more government control and regulation. So they're all, yeah, we need to fix this system. But the problem that the Young Turks failed to mention is that the medical industry is the most controlled industry by government. So the definition of insanity is trying the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. So the Young Turks are all for rules and regulations. It then pollutes the system. It destroys the medical system so bad that it's the least liked. More expensive, less quality. Oh, how horrible. And all of this happens, and the Young Turks say, you know what we need to do? We need more government. That's the solution. No, we're not insane. We just believe that. As long as you listen to our emotional plays, we just need government. It will fix it. Instead of actually thinking about this logically and go, got more government. If it's one of the most government-regulated industries in the world, maybe that's the problem. But no. Let's not think about things critically. No, I'm sorry. I'm insane for thinking that way. I should just promote this la-la land that they live in. Oh, you know what one of the industries that is actually one of the most liked, and it's big business? The technology industry. One of the least regulated industries in the world. Where your TVs are getting cheaper, your cell phones are getting cheaper, and the quality is constantly going up. Yeah, the technology industry, that is one of the most liked on that list. Isn't that odd? The Young Turks they wouldn't learn anything about the medical industry and how we should translate that to the technology industry. No. They wouldn't learn that more rules happen to be the businesses that people don't like, and less rules and more freedom are the businesses that people do like. No, that would be actually thinking about things logically, using critical thinking. That would be using facts to make an opinion or basing your opinion on. But no, don't worry about that. The Young Turds, they won't go there. You're safe. They will give you another emotional plea. The third story that they go on is how Hillary Clinton did not get all of Bernie Sanders' supporters because she wouldn't talk about issues. Another issue that she had was that she was all establishment, and she needed to come across as not so establishment. But don't worry, the Young Turds, they still will vote for her. They still will cry when she loses the election. Bernie Sanders, if that's who they supported, he said he was running on, let's see here. Not corruption, not being in bed with Wall Street, not being a warmonger, not being in bed with the military-industrial complex. Now, Hillary Clinton, on the other hand, and that's why the Young Turds supported her. Now, Hillary Clinton, on the other hand, she was in bed with Wall Street, she was in bed with the big banks, she was in bed with the military-industrial complex, and she was a warmonger. By definition, that is the complete opposite. Again, that's not really doing much research, that's just basic, common sense. Hey, if one's the opposite of the other, maybe you shouldn't vote for that person. But don't worry, the Young Turds, they are all for promoting deception and fake news. But they're for fake news. They want Facebook to block fake news because that way people like them who have the real fake news, they will be able to get their agenda across. So that way people like myself, our fake news will be blocked or slowed down. Anyway, so Hillary Clinton didn't get the supporters because she didn't talk about issues. Was she supposed to pretend? At least Bernie Sanders, he seems sincere. And I kind of thought he was sincere. I mean, he has a record of being sincere. So again, if we're going to look at facts, which the turds love to look at Bernie Sanders' record, but then we have to look at the fact that all of a sudden he started campaigning for the opposite of what he stood for. See, this is my problem with people like Ted Cruz. But see, notice how I actually understand both sides, or I shouldn't say understand, but talk about both Republicans and Democrats. So Ted Cruz, he actually stood up for what he believed in at first. He was kind of like Bernie Sanders. Rah, 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 I'm not going to defend Donald Trump. I'm not going to endorse him. Oh, actually, I will endorse him. See, I actually have respect for Bernie Sanders when he didn't endorse Hillary Clinton. When he stood up and said, hey, I'm going to run my campaign. She is the complete opposite of me. I am not going to cower. My morals, my values are above my party allegiance. Party allegiance? I mean, what is that? I have a D in front of my name, therefore I need to sacrifice all my morals and all my values in order to promote someone else with a D in front of their name? That's absurd. I won't even do that to my own family members. If you're right, I'll defend you. If you're not, I won't. Okay, hey, I love you, man, but you're not right. That's the way it goes. So Ted Cruz did the same thing. He wouldn't endorse him, then he finally caved in and did endorse him. You know who people I like? Oh, I'll pick a Republican and a Democrat, so that way the Young Turds can learn about how you use critical thinking, how you can actually educate yourself on both sides of an issue. I know it's crazy, but you actually learn both sides of an issue before you speak about it. Crazy idea. Tulsi Gabbard, she's a Democrat. She's a progressive. I know the Young Turds aren't huge fans of her because she actually understands that we have refugees coming across our borders and we're not protecting our borders, and the Young Turds are like, hey, anybody can come on into our country. Who cares if they blow it up? Nothing bad's going to happen. But overall, she's actually progressive. She didn't endorse Hillary Clinton. In fact, she had such morals and values, she had to stand down from her position to go and endorse and support and campaign for Bernie Sanders. That is a beautiful thing. That's having respect and knowing who you are. Your morals are a higher value than your party allegiance. Let's look at someone else on the right. Let's look at Ron Paul. He ran against Mitt Romney. They had more in common than than Bernie Sanders and Hillary Clinton. Yet Ron Paul says, my morals dictate that I will not support Mitt Romney. My values, I actually believe in what I say I believe. I'm not going to go and support someone that is close to the opposite of me. I will run my campaign, I will fight my hardest, and if I do not win, I'm not going to endorse the opposite of what I believe in. Because he believes it. It's not something he says to get votes. So, for all you Hillary people, or Young Turds that are actually like, oh, I wonder why Hillary Clinton didn't get her votes, I wonder why she wasn't able to bring people together. Well, here, how about this thought? How about that Donald Trump was less of a warmonger than Hillary Clinton? So maybe the reason Bernie Sanders people went to Donald Trump was not because Hillary Clinton didn't talk about issues, it was because they knew what her issues were. Using logic, reason, thinking about things. How about we go into another thing? Donald Trump was less of a warmonger. He wasn't owned by Wall Street. He wasn't owned by the big banks. He wasn't even owned by huge corporations. The complete opposite of Hillary Clinton. So maybe Bernie Sanders fans said, hey, he sure ain't Hillary Clinton. He sure isn't Bernie Sanders. He's not nearly as good as Bernie Sanders, but he sure beats Hillary Clinton. He actually is more like Bernie Sanders than Hillary Clinton. I know the Young Turds, you guys wouldn't actually think about things like that because he has an R in front of his face. So let's not look at the issues. Let's not look at facts. Let's not look at reason. Let's just use emotion. Yay! They then go over the attacks in Germany. Some terrorist drove a truck through a bunch of people, killed a bunch of people. It's just a disaster over there. They give a relatively fair description of the story, and then they tell everyone, hey, what you need to do if you see this man, because we can't find him, is call the cops. We're not going to mention that that place is a war zone where people are dying all the time. We're not going to mention that the terrorists keep having guns, killing innocent people, and people can't defend themselves. We're not going to mention that if you run into that nutcase, he has the possibility of killing you, and you can't defend yourself because you're not allowed to have a gun. No, 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 no. Just call the cops, because the cops always catch the bad guys, except they didn't catch him here. They don't stop him before it happens. But don't worry, you don't need to defend yourself. The government, the state, yes, they will protect you, except all those that keep dying in terrorist attacks. Thank you, Young Turds. High five to you. Great job. The final thing they go over, and in my opinion, honestly, the Young Turds, you did the best job on this article. Thank you for actually trying to use critical thinking and just doing a little bit of research. I really do appreciate it. I talk about the gentleman who went on an airline flight, or whatever you want to call it. He then tried to make a phone call in Arabic or some other foreign language, and he got kicked off the plane, and that was the news. Oh! Well, then the Young Turds point out that actually, if you go to his YouTube account, his whole entire YouTube account is racial and religious pranks. All of a sudden, the story and the credibility gets taken away. The Young Turds then point out that, hey, we need to not allow this kind of thing. They don't go into any reasons on how we should stop it. They don't go into how to punish him, but they do bring up the good point of how when you actually make statements about how these guys are racially discriminating against me, or how they are religiously discriminating against me, they point out of how that actually hurts the real victims of racial discrimination and religious discrimination. So that way, when a Muslim does have something happen on an airline, people like us who just listen to the news are going to go, well, last time that happened, it was a prank. We are not going to give that person credibility. Great points, the Young Turds. I've been making that a lot myself. There's only one slight problem, Young Turds. You have no issues when you do it yourself. When you call Donald Trump a racist. You know, the guy that has hired more blacks than you guys have? That guy that you're calling a racist. You know, the guy that was endorsed by the first person that endorsed Donald Trump, who was a presidential nominee, was a black man. That guy is your racist. You know, the guy that invited Ray Lewis and I can't even remember Jim Brown over to him to actually talk about how to fix the racial divide and racial issues in our country, that guy you're calling a racist. Oh, by the way, they didn't even vote for him, and he still invited him over. That's the guy you're calling a racist. But don't worry, when someone else does it, you know, they're hurting race relations. They're actually hurting the credibility of the true victims of racism. They're actually helping the racists. But when you do it, no, we're not even going to mention that. Oh, what about when you call Donald Trump a rapist, a homophobic, and so many others? Oh, remember, he's a homophobic, yet he made a speech at the Republican convention, the first Republican to do so, talking about how he is proud that Republicans are now getting behind protecting and defending gays. That guy is homophobic. Using your words, not mine. Because that actually hurts the real victims of those who are homophobic. It actually hurts and it hurts the victims and helps the real scumbags who will attack someone because they're gay. But that's what you do on a daily basis. So TYT, I truly appreciate that you saw it in someone else. Now, I would really appreciate if you would look in the mirror and go, hey, maybe we shouldn't do that ourselves. If you guys want more videos of me dissecting the Young Turds, give me a thumbs up. Tell me what you liked about it. Tell me what you didn't like about it. Tell me if you didn't like it at all. If you love this video, give me a thumbs up. If you hate this video, give me a thumbs down. Tell me why. Subscribe if you guys want more videos like this. Please hit the notification button so that way you can get more. This is Rinas signing out. Peace out.